Can someone tell me what my husband is doing called? I think that's just basic controlling behavior. He's forcing you to engage with him when you don't want to. He's also infantilizing you and reminding you that he's in charge. It's called abuse. A lot of people on here saying you're in the wrong. Technically, you are for ignoring him. Telling him you need time to think about how to respond might be more effective. It also might agitate him more, so it's a thin line. Bottom line, this is abusive and controlling behavior. Calling him out for being abusive could be a safety risk for you. Reach out and get help if it's safe to do so. Let me know if you want any help with this. A survivor of an abusive relationship. I'm not saying he is not abusive or right. But I have to ask, is your response to getting confronted to dive into the phone to avoid it? Because that comes off brushing someone off, which is horrible in its own way. You're married. There is no mine or his. It's both of yours. Communal property purchased with communal assets. Your husband clearly does not understand the financial implications of marriage. Every penny earned as a married couple belongs to both of you. That's how the law views marriage. You need counseling. You as an individual and a couple. Ignoring your partner when they're attempting to communicate isn't fair or right. Claiming ownership because he pays the bills isn't fair or right. Controlling. Both sides suck. Ignoring someone at an argument isn't necessarily good, and controlling your spouse by taking her phone isn't also good. Toxic, if I would guess. This is abuse. Financial abuse. And coercion and control. What else is going on? Do you have a debit card? Access to the bank account? Do you have to ask him for money? Provide receipts for things you've purchased? Do you have a bank account and/or credit card in your own name? I understand that it's embarrassing from first-hand experience. But financial abuse is real and so destructive. I'm going to try be empathetic to both situations here. You are both in the wrong. First of all, ignoring someone when they are trying to communicate anything is disrespectful. I get the silent treatment. But not saying anything and using a phone mid-argument are different. Using a phone demonstrates that you're not listening or don't care enough about what the other person is trying to communicate. If it's an emotional trigger or trauma, then you should seek some help, because that will be harmful later on to your other relationships as well. I understand that someone yelling at your face is shocking and confrontational. But you have to understand that people have breaking points and express anger in different ways. I am in no way endorsing yelling at anyone. But you have to understand that by using your phone and ignoring him, he is feeling unheard, and you can't blame him if he gets more upset and frustrated. I'm assuming you married him for a good reason and you don't talk about him in a terrible tone. So I think his intentions aren't as terrible or controlling as he may come across through his actions or words. However, if you feel unsafe at any point, then you should seek support. His problem is that he is over-escalating the situation. If my partner was ignoring me when I was trying to argue something, naturally I would be frustrated and feel betrayed. And they would be in the wrong. However, the fact that he is being physical and asserting a controlling and authoritative figure in a marriage could show that he is frustrated. You are always using your phone to ignore him, and he has no other way of getting through to you. Or in worst case, he doesn't see you as equal. You know that phrase, hurt people hurt people. He probably feels hurt that you don't listen to his perspective on the argument and flat out ignore him. And he's trying to hurt you back, as he feels upset. I know many people who have been hurt and don't hurt anyone else. But my point is that in that moment, he has been hurt, and you should think about whether his actions are out of frustration and not the norm, or whether he truly has malicious intent to hurt you. For all the people who say red flag and run away immediately. I wish the best for your marriages. I think that's terrible advice. Considering Op is a Som and needs her husband's financial support. For now, I suggest marriage counseling or couple therapy or a friend's advice or distance apart and staying at family or anything. Immediately leaving someone is not as easy as you think, especially if you're legally bound. It's a form of manipulation, which I would say constitutes financial and emotional abuse. You take care of the house and the kids. You cook and clean for the family. That is more than your share in the marriage. So, you have every right to insist that you have full and exclusive access and control over your phone. The money being paid is also partly yours. 'Cause while he works, you make sure the home and him are in good condition. Not undermining earning a living, but tending to the house and kids are way more difficult. To be honest, I hope you can stay married with him without losing yourself and your confidence. I'd call it douchebaggery, but I'm not an expert. I'm really sorry that you had to go through this. You actually don't have to though, so never feel like this is what you deserve. I'd personally say to him that forcefully taking your personal belongings from your hands while in use is pure fuckery. And if he doesn't see the issue, I'd divorce. Psychedelics when in good nutritional intake, very important for good synergy, will help you heal from this abuse. Scientific studies prove this. Yeah, that concept of marital finances is borked. That's not his money. Not legally. Not morally. You two are equal shareholders in a corporation. That corporation has a profit center which bills out labor to a third party. And it also has a cost center which maintains the internal resources the corporation needs, like food and laundry and stuff. What corporation that provides meals and childcare for its employees would consider the wages of the cook and daycarer to actually be the CEO's money? Y'all need to sit down with your budget and set it up so that all income goes into and all corporate expenses come out of the corporation's account. Joint account where all transactions must be mutually agreed. And then decide on the wage that that corporation will pay each of its employees. Your individual personal accounts which you do not share and are for you. I expect that as equal shareholders to the corporation, you'll decide to pay equal wages. But if one of you works harder or something, it might be fair to give one overtime. So you might want to log your hours for a while before you decide. Either way, this my money shit can destroy good marriages. You should strongly consider organizing your finances like the equal partnership that you legally became when you signed that marriage contract. 'Cause it's not his money any more than the check I write to TD Auto Finance is the mailroom employee who opens the envelope's money. Just because they collected it doesn't make it theirs. It's the corporation's money. It's collected in common to pay shared expenses and corporate savings, and then a portion is distributed individually to the employees to be used at their discretion. It's called being a piece of shit. That is definitely abuse. Anyone who snatches something out of your hand like that is at least harassing you, and it could be abuse. It's interesting. The weird part is that two people coming together have millions of ideas about how every little thing is supposed to work within a relationship. The problem often is when you don't know how the partner is going to respond to various situations. And it's basically impossible to know everything until you go through the things together. My sympathies for you. This sounds like he wants to control and be in charge, so to speak. For me, this behavior does not make sense. Being in a relationship and controlling, counting who owns what is stupid. When people divorce, then yeah, I get it. They have to somehow split the stuff. But when you're in the relationship, that just sounds manipulative. You have a tool, a phone, that you want to use for whatever reason, and if they are not toxic to the relationship. I have no idea why would your partner even try to limit you. But since he does. IDK. I never liked being controlled by other people. And this kind of control sounds too much. Like being a kid and your parents taking stuff away to punish you. But a relationship usually implies equal levels of ownership and respect. The ability to discuss and come up with solutions. Not just one person being an authority in everything and punishing the other as they please.
Financial abuse?
Abuse, emotional, financial, and just plain being an asshole. 100% abuse and toxic behavior. GTFO of that relationship ASAP.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. TooAfraidToAsk is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.